Welcome to the Awaken Your Ego podcast, where we embark on a transformative journey towards unleashing your highest potential. I'm your host, Joanne, and I'm thrilled to guide you through discussions that delve into the realms of physical, mental, and spiritual wellness.
Brenna here. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of wellness, offering insights and practical tips to enhance your overall health. From rejuvenating your body to nurturing your mind and spirit, our conversations will cover a holistic approach to well-being.
I'm one of your hosts, Ariana. Discover alternative health strategies aimed at optimizing every aspect of your life. If you're ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and well-being, tune in, open your mind, and let's awaken your ego together. Welcome to a life-changing adventure on the Awaken Your Ego podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Ego podcast. Today we have Sonia, our health coach at Ego, joining us again for another episode. So we're happy to have you back.
Thank you.
So Sonia has been with us for a long time now. Health and wellness has always been a passion of Sonia's. She was a personal fitness trainer for over 10 years and realized how much she enjoyed watching clients transform into happier and healthier versions of themselves. She started working in the realm of holistic medicine when she received her Therapeutic Lifestyle Certification in November in 2009 and began working as a lifestyle coach. Today, Sonia is a certified functional medicine health coach and works hand in hand with our providers at Ego, catering to hundreds of patients per month that are on their wellness journey. Specializing in weight loss, she is the one that will help you optimize your diet and lifestyle in order to get to a healthier place. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's been over a year that you were on the episode last time?
Mm-hmm.
Overdue, for sure.
So as the weight loss specialist, what are your thoughts on the medicated assisted weight loss? I mean, obviously that's been a trend lately with the GLP-1 medications,
Correct.
But it can also be controversial. So what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think these medications are really helpful for patients who struggle with weight loss. I see patients that come into our office and, have no idea how to eat healthy, have no clue, what macronutrients are, or how to read a food label. So, I help them and educate them on that when they're with us with the program. Mm-hmm. But there are patients that also come to us that are working out every day, sometimes twice a day, starving themselves, not eating any carbs, and they cannot get the weight off. And we do other things besides just give them the medications or prescribe the medications. We look at blood work. We look at, other things that could be contributing to why they're not losing the weight. So these medications can help those patients that struggle. I've seen it. I have confidence when the patient walks into my office that I'm going to help them get their life back, because many times weight loss is a very emotional journey. Patients come in, they don't feel like themselves anymore, and they're doing everything they can to get the weight off, and their self-confidence is gone, and many times they just give up and give in to foods that aren't necessarily healthy for them either. So I love these medications because I feel like I can help patients get to their goals quickly, safely,
And stay motivated.
Because they're seeing the results. These medications also, we've been using HCG for a very long time. And patients with hormone issues, HCG actually helps them feel better because we're elevating those hormones while they're on the program. And then, that kind of makes them understand, okay, maybe it's hormone imbalance. And so, after they're done with our program, they continue in our office, working on, balancing their hormones and making healthy lifestyle changes. When patients finish our program with HCG, they're craving an avocado. They're not craving sugar anymore because we've cleaned up their diet. They're eating real food. And with all of these programs that we have, that's always our goal, is to, help them make better choices, eating real food. While they're with me in the program, I'm educating them on, reading a food label, understanding, what ingredients they're putting into their body, how that food is, helping their cells create all these chemical reactions in their body. And I'm constantly pushing that with patients. It's like, I want you to really eat real food. And as they see the progress and they see how they feel better, how they look better, their confidence comes back.
More energy.
More energy. This is something I see every day in my office. So, I really think that these medications have a place if they are prescribed correctly, if they're monitored correctly. And I feel like, I'm very confident that our office does that. We have, physicians that are looking at the labs, making sure that everything, is in good place for them to start. And then I hold their hand through the whole process. And
I love how with all the GLP-1 medications out there and the research going on and the awareness going on, all the studies coming out on how having a balanced blood sugar is so important for more than even just obesity, right? Even mental, cognitive function.
Right. Yeah.
So I love that kind of people are now being more aware of, like, it's not just about the overweight, it's about the balanced blood sugar. Like, let's talk about that, What do you think are some hangups that patients have, like maybe when they're just going to you for accountability coaching and nutritional guidance, that kind of inhibit them from being able to lose weight, that then make you want to turn to a new tool like HCG or GLP-1? Like, are there common factors that maybe make people more candidates for something a little more aggressive?
So definitely, patients with hormone imbalance, I think they struggle a lot. We have a lot of patients that come to us, that are 40, 50, some even in their 30s that are struggling with hormone imbalance.
Or cortisol imbalance.
Cortisol, yeah. And that was my next thing, stress. Stress is probably the biggest thing that I see. So many, especially women, I feel like, they're trying to do it all. They're working, they're taking care of their family, they're taking care of their husband, and they're just trying to do it all, and they're under a lot of stress. And they want quick, easy meals because they're so busy. And a lot of times that doesn't include, making the best healthy options. There's not a lot of healthy options for quick, easy, fast food. So, I think that's some of the stress and hormones, I feel like are probably the biggest obstacles for many patients.
Well, and I think a lot of people don't want to admit, and I know I've talked to you a lot about this over the years, the emotional tie that they might have with food. And they don't even realize that they're feeding something different. You're not hungry, you're just craving.
Correct.
And I feel like you do a good job of helping people like eat real food and determine, like, am I actually hungry, or do I just want sweets because I'm feeling sad and I want to feel happy right now? It's like there's a difference.
Well, that's what I think is good about these programs, because when they're on a diet program, they have to be more conscious about what they're eating, and so they like kind of start making that correlation, like, oh, I'm really not hungry. It's just because it's this time of the day, or I just had a really stressful day and I want to reward myself. A lot of times they're like, I really like food. I'm like, okay, why do you like food though? Is it because it's, a special occasion and that's, part of being with your family, or is it because you're rewarding yourself for, having a hard day, or, just these little things that just kind of start clicking in the patient, once they're on a program. They'll come back to me and, start explaining to me, like, I didn't realize I do this. I didn't realize I eat because it makes me happy. They're dealing with other things that they I always tell patients, what are you feeding? So, find other things to make you happy at that moment. Find other ways to deal with the stress at that moment.
Or if you're turning to sugar for an energy boost, okay, what can we do to get your energy pumped up without that route?
Exactly. So that's why I think these medications are so helpful, because they do help patients start to make lifestyle changes. They're eating real food. They're starting to understand why they may be eating some of the things they're eating that are not necessarily healthy, why they are craving sugar. And these medications do help with the sugar cravings. They get rid of the sugar cravings, especially the GLP-1.
Well, I think that's the most fascinating part about it, and I don't think people talk about it enough. I've heard from a lot of patients how even their alcohol cravings, like those women that, or whoever wants a glass of wine at night before bed, they're like, I don't even want that. I'm not even feeling it. So that the craving aspect, I think, is a big deal, and I'm interested to see where research goes in the future as far as having it maybe used just for alcohol dependence, not necessarily weight loss and insulin resistance. I feel like we're just kind of discovering all of the benefits that come with like having a balanced blood sugar.
I think when you asked about the controversy behind, and I would have, people asking me questions of, I read this online about HCG back in the day, and now it's all about, semaglutide, tirzepatide, these medications. I think that people who talk about, negatively about these medications don't understand how they work. One, they don't understand, like, for example, HCG. I mean, I have so many patients, their lives have been changed. I mean, their BMI is definitely reduced. They're off blood pressure medications. They're off, they're eating healthy. They've changed their life using a hormone that helps them get the weight off, and also us teaching them how to feed their body properly. These GLP-1 medications, I teach every patient, we are balancing your blood sugar with these medications. My goal is that you learn how to do this without these medications, so that once you come off, you understand you need to put protein, fiber with every meal. That's going to help you. If you are going to eat potatoes, you are going to eat rice, and hopefully you're going to eat real food, but you're going to balance blood sugar once you come off these medications on your own without the use of the medication.
It's like a crutch for now, and then we'll get off it eventually.
But it does. These medications, the GLP-1s, are amazing. It gets rid of the cravings. My patients they're like, I love wine. I love drinking wine. I'm like, okay, well, if you want to lose weight, you're not going to be able to drink wine every night. So it does. They get rid of those cravings, and they don't. If they have a glass of wine, they maybe have half a glass of wine, and then they're like, it doesn't really taste that good anymore. So it does help them get rid of, the cravings. One of my patients calls it food chatter.
I love that.
Food chatter, you want something, or it's steering them towards eating a healthier diet, and that's really what we all should be striving for.
100%.
Not even just for weight loss, just for health.
Yeah, I know, really.
So since your last appearance on the Awaken Your Ego podcast, you got a new certification. So you're now a functional medicine health coach. How would you explain what that is to listeners who maybe aren't aware of that title?
So back in 2009, when I started working here, health coaches wasn't a term. It really wasn't around at that time. So that's where I got the certification of lifestyle educator. And I've been in school for a long time, taking nutrition courses. I've always been passionate about health, wellness, exercise. And so I really wanted to update, my certifications, and Dr. Mark Hyman is a doctor that I respect a lot, and I've been following for many years. And he was always promoting this Functional Medicine Health Coach Academy, FMCA, Coaching Academy. And it's from the Institute of Functional Medicine. So I always knew I wanted to do that certification, and I just decided, this is the time, I need to do this. It was a year-long program. Really enjoyed it. I met so many people from all over the world that were interested in the same things I'm interested in, which is great.
Encouraging. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And basically, it teaches basically what we teach in our practice. It basically, what functional medicine is, it's treating the body as a whole, and figuring out what's causing maybe the issues that patients are having, and
going to the source of it.
And a multifaceted approach too.
Right. Not just, here's this medication to help you with the symptoms, such as what primary care does. So that's really our approach in in the certification. That's what we talked a lot about functional medicine, about, diet, health, nutrition. A lot of it was review for me. But one thing I did learn a lot about is really just listening to the patient. Mm-hmm. And I caught myself that I'm so quick to tell them
what I
know and what they should do and what we could offer, that sometimes I just need to sit back and listen a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that I really did get from it, is it really taught us to actively listen to patients.
Well, and it's funny because I like that you mentioned that, because whether it's like going to a conference or reading a certain book or going to a class, it's like sometimes you need those gentle little reminders of like, wait a minute, that's so simple, and maybe I can fine tune it a little bit, because I feel like when you start developing scripts and you're kind of doing the same things every day, it's easy to be like, oh, you're asking about this is what I say. But it's like forcing you to pause, reassess, and be like, okay, hold on, I'm not maybe actively listening as much as I could, and that's a really cool thing to get out of it. I mean,
exactly. So I do realize I do that, because it's like sometimes when patients are talking, I already know. I'm like, I already know, we're going to check your thyroid. I already know, oh yeah, you need to do this, or or oh, we got to do this peptide. Like, and so now I really do make a conscious effort to like just listen to them. And many times I find that patients, they just want to be heard.
Yes.
Because they're going to their primary care doctors, and their doctors are not listening to them, because they have 15 minutes with that patient. And and they, and they're like, okay, you need, if a patient's complaining about weight loss, oh, you need to just stop eating. You're eating too much.
Or go take Phenermine, or go like a simple.
Right. They're not really listening to the patient. And so I find that sometimes my patients they just want to be heard, and they want to be acknowledged that, they're not going crazy. It's their body is going through hormonal changes. Their body, they are having these real issues. So, I do think that that's one thing that I really enjoyed, that I did get out of it. And of course, meeting people and being around people that love nutrition like I do and love helping people, that's the biggest take. I mean, everyone in my class, we all just want to help people. We feel like we have this knowledge, and we just want to get it out there.
No, that's awesome. So what motivated you to go back for that certification in the first place?
There was a lot of changes going on in my life at the time, and I always wanted to do it, and I just think that things just started falling into place for me, where I just had that motivation to like
go for it,
challenge myself. Yeah,
because you're busy. You were busy.
Yeah,
with work, being a mom, life at home. It's like, when do you ever find the right time to go back to school and learn something new?
You just make the time. I really honestly feel that way. Sometimes it is, sometimes I wonder how I did things. I'm like, how did I find the time to do all of that? But you just do it.
No, 100%. I feel like, and maybe this is just my own mindset, but it's almost like whenever someone tells me they're going to do something and they don't, and there's always an excuse, in my head I'm like, oh, this wasn't a priority enough for you. Right. That's why it didn't happen.
Right.
You don't view this as important, so you put it on the back burner because it wasn't on the list, not high enough on the list.
Right.
So I feel like it's like anytime I can't do that, it means like, Ariana, is this actually a priority? Do you want to do it? Because there's always a way to figure out how. But then I have to be honest, like, okay, no, it's just not right now. I don't have it in the tank. I'm not ready to make a plan and figure it out and put it in my life.
Right.
And so I love that you finally were like, I'm ready to make this a priority. I'm going to figure out how to plug it in, and then it all just kind of,
it all fell into place. I remember, because I was actually taking courses at the college too at the same time, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but okay, I can do it.
I'll figure it out one step at a time. We're good.
Yeah. But I mean, I want to continue learning. I want to continue. I'm constantly listening to podcasts, all these doctors and dietitians and people that I respect in our community. And I want to, be able to have more information so that I can put it out there. And I think we're going to talk about a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. I don't know if you want me to talk about it now, but there's a lot of, Vani Hari is the food babe. I don't know if you're familiar with her Instagram or her. Back in the day, I followed her on Facebook. That's how long ago she's been around, exposing companies for the harmful ingredients they're putting into our food. This is something that I've been talking about with patients for years, in our office for years. I was the mom that did not allow my kids to eat school lunches, I know about all these chemicals and things that are in our food. And she was one of the first ones out there, and she's just a mom, just concerned about our kids. And not just a few weeks ago, they had a Senate hearing, or it's a Senate committee, nonpartisan Senate committee, where she brought all of these people that I respect. I've read their books, I follow them. Dr. Casey Means, Callie Means, RFK, Mark Hyman, a lot of big names that went to this Senate committee that they put together on the health of our food system. And she's exposing Kellogg's for putting harmful ingredients in our children's cereals in America, and how in Europe they use watermelon juice and carrot juice to color their cereals in Europe, because those food dyes that they put in our country are banned in Europe.
Yeah.
So she's just one person, and I think that, if that one person can make that big of an impact, it's been years, but I'm really excited for what's going to happen in the next, hopefully, few years. There's another meeting coming up, I think sometime this month, I hope to, I need to make a little Instagram post about it, because I've been kind of sharing some of the videos, but some of my friends didn't even know about what's going on, because of course the media doesn't cover this.
Yeah.
People don't realize how much money these big companies have to censor, people from talking about what's in their food. And I don't think that parents realize, when they're buying those boxed foods and boxed cereals, packaged foods from these companies, that what's in the food. Because if they did, I don't think they would be wanting to feed their children those
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're not educated on it. They
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
I grew up eating Kellogg's. I didn't know, and I know my mom didn't know. I can't
Right.
blame her for it.
But the Kellogg's back then may not have had that. That's the thing, is that's what they're talking about, is how we've evolved, and now it's okay to put all these chemicals, and because
It's cheaper.
it's cheaper, and so they say that some of the food that we had back in the 70s and 80s is not the same food we have now. That's packaged has become ultra processed now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been just hidden. You trust that our government is feeding us healthy food, right? So, but yeah, they pay politicians. They have a lot of money to be able to do what they're doing. So I hope to just continue, educating, and do your research, look at the stuff that's what's going on, and that the media is not covering. Because
When I think food is so sneaky, because it's never instantaneous. If I drink something or eat something with red dye 40, I'm not going to immediately feel that effect, maybe.
right.
But over years and years and years, and the toxicity, it's if I'm just ignorant to what it can cause, it's who knows how long and how much I can ingest, and then I'll start seeing the effects.
Right.
But I think that's what's tricky about it, is people don't want to care, because there's not an instant problem or direct
You don't
effect.
notice,
It's a long-term thing that grows and evolves, and that's what's just kind of tricky with it.
I mean, if you really look, I've been listening to a lot of information about this, and they talk about how, when I was growing up, even when you guys were growing up, you didn't see autism like you see now. You didn't see the health issues that we're having. We didn't see obesity in children. So I really think that the evidence is showing, what's been happening with our food is directly, affecting
us over time.
Affecting us over time, and our children.
How can we be so ignorant to believe, even if, or not to understand, I guess, if you're a parent and you're eating a certain way and you have certain habits, of course your kids are going to start picking up on that, because they're also eating that way and developing those habits and those kind of tastes for certain types of food. It's that ripple effect of even being raised by someone with a problem in a department, whether it's mental or, you know, with nutrition, but it's going to have a ripple down effect.
Right.
So I just feel like, why not get things cleaned up and be very intentional with like how we're raising our kids and feeding our kids so that they have a chance to do it that way and even better.
Right.
You know, let's set them up for success.
Right.
But
I've always said, you know, I've always been very clear with my children. I mean, I do call things, you know, cancer in a can, cancer in a bag, you know, because I do want them to know, you know, if you are going to make a choice to eat that, I want you to know, you know, maybe why you don't feel good after you eat it, or, you know, that how it can affect you. And I've always had, you know, my options, you know, of different products that they can have that replace those things. And that's really a lot of what I do in the office too, is I help patients, okay, they like chips. Okay, there are healthier chips out there that are using actual, you know, avocado oil or coconut oil that are healthier than the seed oils and, you know,
well,
food
so
dyes.
I was at my daughter's softball practice the other night, and there was a kid, it was a little brother of someone running around, and all of a sudden he starts vomiting, like projectile vomit thankfully it was outside, it was like in the parking lot, and I was like, oh my gosh, what happened, or is this kid sick? Like I felt like, oh no, and then come to find out this kid had just had Taco Bell for dinner on the way to practice, ate a bag of hot Cheetos, and then was running around with everyone getting all hot and sweaty because it was so hot outside, and then he's vomiting. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm not actually worried, you just overdid it, obviously. But it's like, how sad. You know, I bet he didn't know. It's like, oh, that's yummy, I'll eat it. Oh, I like that, I'll eat it. It's not like he was thinking, oh, this could possibly make me really sick and feel awful. Learned his lesson that day, obviously. We've all done that sometimes. No, but it was funny because it was just right in front of me, but like I was away from it to where I'm like, interesting. That I'm sure that his brain is making correlations right now, even at the young age of like 7 or whatever he was. But it's just people don't quickly make that connection sometimes or make that correlation.
What's the biggest takeaway from this last certification that has been most impactful to your health and wellness?
I think we kind of touched on it already, but it really just kind of lit a fire under me that I want to talk more about this. I don't want to be quiet. I think in the past I was a little nervous about getting like backlash, like, oh, you know,
or offending someone,
or you know, I eat weird food. No, I eat real food. So I really feel like when I met all these people from all over the world that believe like I do and think like I do and understand nutrition like I do and understand food like I do, and I really feel like it just kind of lit that fire. Like I just want to do more, and I want to educate more, and I want to tell people more. I want to, like, you know, and I feel like it kind of, you know, this whole thing with the Senate committee, that hearing they had, it's like, okay, yeah, it's moving in that direction. Like people are starting to see it, and they're making it and confirming everything that I've been talking about for years, and it's in Washington, so it could actually make a change. I always kind of thought that, you know what can we do? You know, these companies own our country. But no, now I see like, okay, no, people are fighting and they want a change, and hopefully that's going to happen. So really I've talked to, you know, Ariana about this. Like, I really want to do more social media. I really want to do more. How do I improve in my career in
spreading the word,
not just helping patients lose weight, which I love, because I love watching my patients transform their lives for the better. You know, I'm always excited for them to make their life better, not just, you know, their health, but their confidence. Everything changes when they lose weight. But also to educate patients so that they make healthier choices for themselves and their family. So our children are healthier. So my grandchildren are healthier. So we live in a better world.
And I feel like you've been such a proponent of healthy living, eating, wellness. You've been such a lighthouse to your patients that, like, you're preaching this stuff not preaching, I guess I'm saying, like, tell them things that maybe they haven't heard put that way or explained that way. And I'm just really excited for this next step for you, because I feel like you're ready to just be a brighter, shining lighthouse.
Yeah.
You're still you're still consistent and educating in the way that you've always felt was right and you've known. But I love that you're ready to actually like put your voice out there more and have more of an impact and an effect. Because I feel like we are in a community, even though we grow a lot of ag and we have that available to us readily, it's like that's still that piece, that education on toxicity and all the chemicals and different things involve pesticides. It's like, I love that you're willing to open up that discussion too.
I always said I want to move from here because I don't live in a healthy city, you know, like I would love to have True Food Kitchen here, you know, my favorite restaurant, but the demographics don't, you know,
They don't all get it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I thought, you know, instead of moving while I'm here, and as long as I stay here, why am I not making a better impact in my community now?
Yeah.
And I found that there's a lot of people that are interested in learning about this and want to know more and want to eat healthier and want to make better changes. And so hopefully our community will improve on that, you know, little by little. I mean, I see what one person did, you know, the food babe, Vani Hari. I mean, I see what she did. I mean, you know, just takes just one person, right?
Yeah.
True.
And
To
why
start that
not?
effect.
Why not
Start
you,
that triple
Sonia?
effect.
Be the first domino, you know?
So with functional medicine, there is an important aspect of your mental health, your emotional health, and your spiritual health, which I like to call purpose. How have you incorporated that in your personal life as well?
Well, you wanted me to talk about that? Okay. So about, a year ago, actually, I moved out of my home that I shared with my ex-husband and my children. So I'd been dealing with infidelity, trying to hold on to marriage for a very long time. So for some time prior to that, it was kind of a dark time for me. And but through that period of time, I never stopped taking care of myself, even though, you know, there were times when I could barely eat. I made sure I ate my protein, my organic food, my juices, the things that I, you know, feed my body. I always knew I would be okay, no matter what. I knew I would be okay. I had great support. Okay, what was your question again?
That's okay. The importance of your mental and emotional
Oh, okay.
health. Yeah.
Yes.
You're talking about it.
Okay. So one thing I knew I would always be okay, but I knew I had to take care of myself. And of course, I had, you know, my children watching me too. So it was very important, you know, the decisions that I made that I knew it would affect them. So, you know, my example is, you know, I kept going to the gym. That was kind of my happy place at that time. I just, you know, was like, I'm going to have a goal I was trying to build more muscle in my lower body. Still have that goal. And so I kept, you know, with my strength training, I kept, you know, coming to work. There were times when, you know, I was told I could take time off if I needed it, but I needed work because I came to work and I have all these amazing people that I work with and supportive people that, you know, there were times when I was, you know, seeing patients. I think you had asked me about that earlier about I was seeing patients and I would just get through a patient and go in the back room and start crying and then put makeup on and come back out, you know. So work was a great distraction, and being around people that support me no matter what. I mean, that's truly, I'm very grateful for my work family.
And you did a lot of also healing sessions with our consciousness coach and trying to deal with traumas. Yeah.
So Lizette is instrumental in helping me get through some of the hardest times. She really helped me see my worth, and also just helped me with my, I guess, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just my energy. Like, I always knew I wanted to put good out. And she really helped me with that, to see things like, don't let things that are done or said, you know, that's not who you are. I know who I am. And I want to just continue to put out love and positivity. And she really helped me with that. So many times when I would, you know, she could tell my energy was like not good, and we would just talk, and I would leave there like with this weight off my shoulders, and I'm like, yep, I'm my head high, and I'm going to be okay. And that's really, through this whole process, is what I really just strive to practice, is just like continue to put out love, no matter what's said, no matter what's done. I'm just pour out love to people, pour out love to people who are even, you know, hurting me. Just, you know, positive. And I feel like it's really come back to me in so much. I mean, I'm always, you know, I'll always be grateful to, like I said, my work family, my friends. I mean, it was a really, really difficult time in my life. And I feel like once I just continue to take care of myself. I think that was your whole point to this, is that I continue to take care of myself, you know, with my visits with Lizette, and, you know, feeding my body healthy food, exercising, continuing to, you know, make time, you know, my friends and my family, everyone, you know, is always around me, making sure I was okay. And I think that's key, you know, surround yourself with good people. And I'm very fortunate to have great friends and great support, and, you know, a great work family that did support me through that time. Yeah, I always say, you know, a lot of times patients will tell me that, you know, when they come to me, they've been through similar circumstances, and they just let themselves go. You know, they go in such a deep depression. So I hope that, you know, maybe I can inspire others to, like, no, the best thing for yourself is just to get up and just keep going, you know, keep taking care of yourself, make yourself a better version of yourself. And I really feel like that's where I'm at now. It's like I'm continuing to just evolve. Yeah. And, you know, my life is very different than, you know, for many years I was raising, you know, my stepchildren, 5 kids, and my daughter, you know, so 6 kids, full house, you know. I had help, but still, it's a lot. You know, I had 4 different schools at one time, and you know, so yeah. But no, I'm very happy where I'm at now. It's definitely been a journey, and anyone who's been through betrayal trauma would understand what it's like. But you know, you just gotta keep taking care of yourself, because you know you're the only one that's going to be able to take care of you. You know, 100%. You have to be able to, So
speaking from experience of being in betrayal trauma, it's easy to be angry. It's easy to be angry at the other person for betraying you and hurting you, and even being angry at yourself for why did I put up with this? Yes, 100%.
I had that conversation with Lizette so many times. Why did I put up for it so long? Why?
Yeah.
And I can't, I mean, I've come to the conclusion that I was not seeing who that person was at that moment. They're not the person that I thought they were anymore.
You're still fantasizing about who they were in the beginning.
And I think that, I mean, we all do. I mean, we all want things to work out. We all want, you know, we all want to keep our families together.
We were raised thinking marriage is pushing through the tough times, through thick and thin. You just got to keep going and keep giving more of yourself in hopes that it'll fix things. But sometimes, you know, it's like, no, this isn't what's good for me. You know, sometimes there's certain things, certain betrayals that it's like, we can't move past this anymore.
Well, and it really does take 2 people, as motivated as you are. If the other person's not moving or changing, it's like, what? I can't play with this. Like, how are we supposed to grow together if I'm the only one trying to grow? You know?
And I always think about too, like, you know, what are we teaching our children too? You know, you know, that's one thing I struggled with as well. It's like, okay, I need to make an example. And is this a good example or is this a bad example?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and how's our dynamic?
Right.
If we're being toxic to each other or arguing a lot, how's that affecting the kids?
Right.
Because they're hearing it, they're
Yeah.
seeing it. That's hard too.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is individually, you know, relationships are individually different, you know, but yeah, for me, it was the best decision that I finally saw my worth. I finally was like, okay, I can't keep doing this anymore, you know.
If you're comfortable sharing, I guess, what are some things that you feel like you discovered about yourself after kind of going through that process? Or maybe parts of yourself that maybe got forgotten or lost in there?
So Lizette and I have done some inner child work. And it's crazy how, like, you see things as a child that I was never going to end up like that. I was never going to, you know, I remember, you know, my parents' relationships, and, you know, I was like determined to know that was not going to be me. And how you bring that into your relationships. It's the strangest thing. And I'm still, you know, working on that, you know.
Unpacking all that.
Yeah, I'm still, you know, I think like healing is just
a journey.
I don't think it's never done, right? You're always constantly trying to become a better version of yourself. And that's really what I'm trying to do, you know, still.
There's always things to learn.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable now with everything that's, you know, I feel like things happen for a reason. Sometimes we don't know why. There's something always better out there. And so, you know, with anything that happens in your life, if you're disappointed that something didn't
Work out,
whether it's a job or a marriage, or it's like, well, there's just something better. And if
It's
you
a
look at it that
redirect.
way, you know, you just go, you'll be fine. It will come your way.
I love that attitude. I think that's great.
What are some habits or tools or maybe hobbies that you developed or turned to that you feel like have made a difference on your healing journey?
So you're talking about dancing. I love dancing. So, you know, when I first was out of, you know, moved out and in my home, you know, I've been remodeling my home. I've been busy, you know, going to the gym, working, really diving into trying to, you know, stay busy. At first I even thought like, oh, maybe I should get a foreign exchange student because I miss the noise. You know, my daughter actually left for college right after I moved in. So it's like, it's me and my dogs, you know, so.
That would be a shift from like Full House to
yes,
like.
I mean, you know, at first I liked it. I'm like, oh, I could watch whatever I want on TV, you know, all that. But I've always loved dancing, Latin music. I've always loved salsa. Bachata is something I always wanted to do more of. You know, anytime a Spanish song would come on anywhere in any place, wedding, wherever, I was like,
You felt it.
Get somebody to dance with me. So I found, and I knew there was a community of dancing and things like this, but it was always in the Bay Area. So I thought, oh, that's kind of far. And something came up on my Instagram, and I found this dance studio downtown, and I went for my first beginner lesson, and she's like, oh, no, you're intermediate. I'm like, I am? Okay. So I started going to the intermediate classes, and then I found this community of people that love dancing as much as I do, and that's all we want to do. And so I'm dancing like, you could pretty much dance every night if you wanted to.
She's like, I know all the spots.
Yeah, I know everywhere you can go. But yeah, I started doing salsa and bachata, and I do really just want to dance every day. I mean, I love it. I want to get better and better. I'm taking lessons. You know, sometimes like my friends will see my videos I post, and they're like, oh, you're really good. I'm like, no, you haven't seen what's really good yet. Like, you know, I'll get there though.
You're like, I'm on my way. But.
Yeah. So, I mean, and if you think about it, I even with my patients, I share it with my patients all the time that are feeling down or you know, stressed or, you know, going through hard times, because when you're dancing, you can't be sad. You can't be stressed. You really look at everyone, everybody's happy.
Well, and you literally, if you're learning, you got to focus on what the heck you're doing. I would be that girl like, wait, what foot?
Yeah.
Like, where are we at?
Well, as females, we're follows. So you just have to follow. You just have to learn how to follow.
I'm not good at following.
The leaders have the
my problem.
hard job. But but I found this community, like I said, I mean, everyone dances with everyone. I dance with 20-year-olds. I dance with 80-year-olds. I mean, it's just dancing.
Yeah.
And we all just love it. So I found my little, now I have
Found another tribe.
another little group of community and friends, and and it's been amazing. You know, now I'm trying to balance time with my other friends that I've been trying to get to dance with me. You know, it's finding that balance to like make sure I spend time with everyone, but because I really do. I see more of my dance friends right now than I do anyone else.
So that's cool. There is such a thing as dance psychology. I don't know all the scientific facts about it, but there's this guy I follow. He's always talking about it. But he says there's something about dancing with improvisation. Yeah, I can't say that word. Sorry.
Like improv.
There's something about it that has a positive effect on the brain, and it's basically releasing all of those happy chemicals. So you are changing the biology of your body just by dancing and moving, you know, and it can be salsa, bachata, but anything that just flows, allowing your body to move how it wants to.
Right. Yeah. There are some older people in our dance classes, and she was explaining to me, she's like, I'm staying, you know, because I'm like, I'm going to be like you, and she's like, well, you know, that's how I stay young, and it helps the brain.
100%.
And, you know, there is evidence that
there's a connection.
you know, the connection. So she's staying young in her mind, even though you think it's just physical. It's actually helping your mind as well, because
Cognitively,
That's awesome. So you mentioned that you are experiencing an empty nest at home, going from the full house. How has that impacted you personally? I know because, you know, as a mom, especially with having to tend to all the needs, right, of all your children, to then just having no one there. What kind of impact has that made on you as a mom?
I mean, for me, I enjoy it. I love my time. I need to be home more because I am dancing so much, and then I go to the gym. I mean, there's times when I'm like, on the weekends, it's like gym in the morning, dancing at night. I enjoy it, but I know that, you know, some of my patients have explained to me that they have a hard time when that happens. And, you know, I think that for me personally, because I really do love my life, and I really do love, I'm passionate about things in my life. So I stay busy. You know, I don't think that it's a negative thing. I mean, how do I say this?
Well, I think a lot of people put their worth on what they're producing, whether it's work, and then they become hyper focused on it, and that's how they feel they get their attaboys, or even in motherhood. I feel like, I need to put all my extra effort and energy into my kids, and that makes me feel like a good person because it's what I think I should be doing.
Right.
But I think what you've kind of rediscovered through this whole process is like, I have worth regardless. I am worthy of enjoying. I am worthy of taking care of myself. I am worthy of laughing and just experiencing life in a way that I want.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes as adults, we let our responsibilities kind of overshadow all of that. And we feel like we have to be producing in some way in order to be worthy of existing. And in reality, I like that you're like, no, I know I have worth regardless, and so I'm happy regardless.
Right. Yeah. Like, it's like my daughter was home, you know, all summer, and so when she went back to school, and I came, you know, I went with her, and I came back, and the house was quiet again, you know, and I know she's not going to be home for a while. I mean, I do get a little like, a little sad, but you know, I just make sure that we talk every night. I talk with my other, you know, my daughters regularly. And I try to just connect with them. And, you know, I connect with my friends too. And I'm very, I guess I'm okay.
Well, and you're not self-isolating. You're you're actually outreaching to people instead of just like sitting in a lonely corner waiting for someone to outreach to you.
I stay really busy, and that's what I encourage my patients, you know, that are going through the same things, that they have to kind of redefine who they are because they were a mom for so long, and that's what they were.
That's the hat they wore all the time.
They were mom. And, you know, I'm always encouraging them, you know, find the things that you enjoy doing and go do them, you know, whether it's, you know, tennis or, you know, just anything that's physical, I feel like is very helpful.
I agree.
Because you're moving your body, you're doing something, you know, that hopefully will bring you joy, and you're meeting other people that like the same things you do. You know, I feel like I have more time to dedicate to work too, and to like take more certifications, take more courses. You know, so I'm really busy. I feel like I'm busier now than I was before because I have so many things I want to do. You know, I really do feel like that. I feel like I'm just like, sometimes like, okay, how am I going to do all this stuff I want to do? I really am motivated just to go experience life and dance and, you know, spend time with friends. Yeah. Even just being more present, you know, trying to be more present, because I think as a mom, you know, like there's times when you know, you've got kids asking you 3 different things.
When you got to remember to help with this project and buy this thing.
You have to figure out, you know, what you're going to make for dinner, and you don't stay present sometimes. And so that's one thing that I have really tried to focus on with my kids now is like, I just try to be more present. You know, sometimes the other night I was late for dance because my daughter called from Sacramento, and I was like, I need to sit and talk with her because I haven't talked with her. You know, I'm not going to, you know,
cut her off.
I'm not going to cut her off because I got to get to dance, you know. I try to just be more present as much as I can, and just continue to, you know, give love out, and it's been working for me so far. I mean, I feel like things are coming my way that are just in abundance. I mean, I'm very, very happy where I'm at now.
That's awesome.
I love that.
You deserve that, especially with what you've gone through.
Everyone deserves that.
Yes.
And it's funny how you saying being present, it's like for me, with how my brain's wired, that I feel like that's almost like my life journey, is like figuring out how to like just be present in this moment without letting my mind wander. I feel like I'm always looking ahead or trying to anticipate problems or prepare things so I have less problems in the future, like mitigate future problems. But I know like I'm happiest in experiencing an abundance of joy and connection when I'm shutting that off and being right there, whether it's in a conversation or an activity or even with my kids. It's like, Ariana, this is the important stuff. This is the good stuff.
Right.
Don't be so busy prepping for the future that you're not letting yourself enjoy the moment.
Patients come in many times and will say, you know, oh, you don't, I don't know how I'm going to eat like this when I have this and I got to run this kid to the, you know, and they're just stressed out about dance,
future,
you know,
tripping.
the stuff that they have to do, soccer or whatever. We travel for soccer. I'm like, I've been where you're at. I know. And I always tell them this. I'm like, you know what? Enjoy it. Because one day they're going to leave for college and you're going to be like, oh, I miss that craziness, you know?
Yes, it's true.
I'm like, just try to enjoy those moments. You know, I know it's crazy. I know I've been there, but just soak it up, because they're only that age for so long.
Oh, and isn't it funny as a mom when you're kind of aware of those
makes me
things?
emotional.
Like, I was putting my daughter down to bed the other day. I always kind of talk with her, and you know, my son too, but I take a minute, rub their back, we talk about their day, whatever. And then one day she was like, Mom, you know what? I think we're old enough to probably start going to bed on our own. And it broke my heart.
I know.
And then I felt so stupid for all the times I ever was like, ugh, I have to go put them down.
exactly,
I'm so tired. I don't
exactly.
want to. I instantly felt like, Ariana, come on.
Yeah.
You're about to miss this whole thing. And she went to bed alone for a week, and I was like, okay, Mom, can you rub my back tonight? It's like, she wanted me again. And I felt like, yes, I'm still needed. Like, it felt like, it was like my mom heart just exploded.
Right.
But it was kind of a reality check for me. I'm like, in what ways am I just so busy checking boxes that I'm not actively participating in loving on my kids or the bedtime routine or whatever? I'm like, okay, we got to fix this.
I would catch myself sometimes like thinking about like, oh, I wish I would have done this. Oh, I wish I should have spent more time doing this with them. I should have done, you know, I'm like, no, I did the best I could, you know, right? And that's one thing I will, you know, I tell all my moms, I'm like, none of us are perfect. No. We all suffer from mom guilt. We all, you know, you just do the best you can, but just try to like just remember that, soak up those moments, you know.
And I like how you're saying it's like, don't victimize yourself and be like, oh man, I suck, I should have done this. It's like, no, own what you did, your effort you put out. That's what you knew. We did the best thing, and now we can do different if we want.
Right. Yeah.
No, that's great. What is a message that you would tell younger Sonia?
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
Or even Sonia from before everything went
before
different.
2021. Yeah. Gosh. You're gonna make me cry. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Younger Sonia. This is something that I honestly want my daughters to know, and I've told them. You need to know your worth. You need to know your worth, and you don't have to be what everybody wants you to be. It's okay to fail sometimes. It's okay to know when it's time to walk away, and love yourself. Because I think, you know, it was hard to say that I've been divorced twice, you know, and what I thought I had wasn't there anymore. And I just didn't want to see it. Because my friends all saw it. Everybody else saw it. I just didn't see it. And that's one thing that I've actually thought about writing a book, because I think you see it in movies. You see it everywhere. I mean, you know people that they don't see it. So I feel like we need like a book, like a girlfriend's book or something.
A girlfriend's guide. Well, and I think and something I talked to my husband about is like giving our kids a gift of awareness of self and others, and having their feet in reality is the greatest gift I think we could give. Because if they can be aware of what's actually going on and not what they're assuming is going on, then they can have the power to pivot or make change. But if they're just head in the sand, pushing forward, not aware of others or how it's making them feel, then they're not going to be able to do that. They're powerless to it. They can end up in that fantasy and then wake up and be like, oh my gosh, how did I not see it for how it is?
Right.
So I love that you're kind of seeing that and even warning your kids about that, because I think that's real.
It's okay to, like, you know, sometimes things just don't work out, and it's okay.
And it might have nothing to do with you.
Yeah, exactly. It many times it's not about you.
Most times.
And so, you know, be strong enough to know that you're going to be okay, no matter what. No matter what, you're going to be okay, and to have that strength, you know. And I've told my girls that, you know, if any time you don't feel like this is right, you know, you shouldn't be crying when you're in a relationship every night. You shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't be wondering. If you have those thoughts, then it's probably not a good relationship to be in.
Well, and something I tell my daughter a lot too. I'm like, babe, don't let anyone tell you who you are or what you're about or what you think. Like, you get to determine.
Right.
And their actions don't get to change who you are. It's like, if you're an honest, kind, loving person and someone's challenging you and trying to make you call you a liar or doesn't want to be friends with you, fine, go ahead. I know who I am. It doesn't matter. If you don't see it like that, then I guess we don't see each other.
Exactly.
You know, and it's like, it should be as simple as that.
Right.
I'm like, don't be so desperate of being abandoned or not having a friend that you'll put up with toxicity or shaming or
embarrassment.
bullying or embarrassment. Yes.
Embarrassment. I mean, that's a big part too, you know. You know, you can stand up for who you are and you're okay. I mean, and I'm glad you're teaching your daughter that. I mean, I feel like all girls should be taught that. It's okay to say no. I mean, I remember a long time ago hearing about how, and my daughter does this, I tell her all the time not to do it, how we say, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And it's like, you don't have to be sorry for feeling the way you feel or thinking the way you think. Like, you don't.
It's valid.
Yeah.
Well, and it's ironic. I was talking to my husband, and he has a construction company, but he was feeling really awkward because he couldn't show up for someone like he wanted to, and he got pulled to a different job, whatever. So he was kind of feeling anxious about it. I'm like, Cody, there's no problem here. I'm like, you know your intent is good. You know you're going to get to all these jobs when you can. You know stuff happened to where you couldn't. So approach this person with that vibe of like, I didn't have time to do it this week. I'm going to come next week. I have a plan. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we don't need to make excuses. We don't need to say sorry. It is what it is.
Right.
If you know your intent is good, your client will feel that you're being honest and your intent was good.
Right.
But he kept trying to think of like a way to have an excuse that would be enough or how to say sorry. And I'm like, I don't apologize if I'm late. I know when I'm late, and I could say, the meeting didn't work out today. I got hung up. When can we meet in the future? I'm like, okay, the past is already done. Now what are we going to do with this moving forward?
Exactly.
But it's like, if I knew why I couldn't, if I had to be late or missed a meeting because X, Y, and Z popped up, the other person doesn't care about the details. They just know I missed the meeting, and when are we going to connect again?
Right.
But it's just, I love that you bring that up, because I think I was that person that was always like, I'm sorry, like for whatever.
Right.
Because I always thought it was my fault or up to me. And in reality, it's like, no, I need to focus on what I'm up to. If I have good intent, good energy.
Exactly.
People are going to feel that and recognize that.
Well, and that goes back to what I was saying. Like, I'm like making conscious effort to just pour love.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like I am that person. I do love people. I have empathy for people. I want to help people. And I just live my life like that. Just continuing to pour love and have good intentions. I have always good intentions. No matter what happens, I'm just going to sit in that, you know, my intention is always good, and then giving love out however it is received, you know, it will come back. When I've seen
the
that,
universe boomerangs it back.
exactly. and I like I said, I've seen that. I've seen that in my life. Currently, I am in a very good place, and I have really good people around me, and I do think that I'm attracting these people, you know, you guys included. I attract that because that's what I put out.
Yes.
100%. Love that. Well, thank you so much, Sonia, for coming on. We love having you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Personal, but we appreciate it.
I have all my patients listen.
We should put a little QR code that connects them back to this podcast.
Yeah, because it's relatable. You know, we've all been through hard times, and so to hear someone that understands our pain, it's just like, oh yes, like she gets it.
Yeah,
I'm not alone.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and talking to patients in my office, you know, there were some patients that would come in, they're like, are you okay?
You're like, don't worry about it.
You know, and then they would share their stories, and so many women go through this.
Yeah.
So many women go through it silently. Silently.
And I find it so crazy that it's like, even if we're just a smidge vulnerable, it allows that opening for someone else to be vulnerable with you.
Yeah. Right.
And I feel like, and in that vulnerability, you're able to learn and to teach at the same time. But if we're all closed off and too scared to show our cracks or to like to speak up, then we're missing out on that beautiful opportunity to support each other and have that connection. So that's really cool that you've learned that. You obviously you do that with all your patients. You're great at that.
Yeah, thank you.
And cut.
Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode of the Awaken Your Ego podcast. We hope our discussions have inspired you to explore new dimensions of health and wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to empower individuals on their path to optimal well-being.
Stay tuned for more insightful conversations, and until next time, may you continue to awaken your ego and embrace the extraordinary potential within.
Take care, be well, and remember, your journey matters.